Hey everybody, and welcome back. I know it's been a long time since I've done a read aloud, so I thought I would do one of my old favorites, and it's called Strega Nona. And this is actually a folk tale. So if you remember folk tales, they are stories that are passed down from generation to generation. They often take on characteristics of the time and the place and where they're told. So they might have different words that are related exactly to the setting, and they have a theme. So remember, a theme is a life lesson. So this is a quirky little story. This is Strega Nona, and so we're going to check it out. In a town in Calabria, a long time ago, there lived an old lady everyone called Strega Nona, which means Grandma Witch. Although all the people in town talked about her in whispers, they all went to see her if they had troubles. Even the priest and the sisters of the convent went, because Strega Nona did have a magic touch. So as you can see, all these people in line to see Strega Nona. And in a convent, if you're not sure, a convent is a place like a church where nuns live. She could cure a headache with oil and water and a hairpin. She made special potions for the girls who wanted husbands. And she was very good at getting rid of warts. So these are all the pictures. So here's her getting in. All these people are getting in line, curing a headache. And then in the middle, you have all these girls who wanted husbands. And as you can see, now they have one. And in the bottom, these people who have warts. There's one wart at the top of his nose. And now it's gone. He's happy. But Strega Nona was getting old, and she needed someone to help her keep her little house and garden, so she put up a sign in the town square. This is her putting her sign up. And Big Anthony, who didn't pay attention, went to see her. So it's really important that he didn't pay attention. "Anthony," said Strega Nona, "you must sweep the house and wash the dishes. You must weed the garden and pick the vegetables. You must feed the goat and milk her. And you must fetch the water. For this I will give you 3 coins and a place to sleep and food to eat." "Oh, grazie," which means thank you, said Big Anthony. "The one thing you must never do," said Strega Nona, "is touch the pasta pot. It's very valuable, and I don't let anyone touch it." "Oh, si, yes," said Big Anthony. So here's Big Anthony, Strega Nona. And so the days went by. Big Anthony did his work, and Strega Nona met with the people who came to see her for headaches and husbands and warts. Big Anthony had a nice bed to sleep in next to the goat shed, and he had food to eat. One evening, when Big Anthony was milking the goat, he heard Strega Nona singing. Peeking in the window, he saw Strega Nona standing over the pasta pot. So here's Big Anthony working while Strega Nona's helping. And here he is working again, but then he hears Strega Nona singing. She sang, "Bubble, bubble, pasta pot, boil me some pasta, nice and hot. I'm hungry and it's time to sup. Boil enough pasta to fill me up. And the pasta pot bubbled and boiled and was suddenly filled with steaming hot pasta. Then Strega Nona sang, Enough, enough, pasta pot. I have my pasta nice and hot. So simmer down my pot of clay until I'm hungry another day.
How wonderful, said Big Anthony. That's a magic pot for sure.
Here she's singing for the pasta while Big Anthony is watching. And there's a nice full pot of pasta right here. And Strega Nona called Big Anthony in for supper. But too bad for Big Anthony, because he didn't see Strega Nona blow 3 kisses to the magic pasta pot. Remember how I said he didn't pay attention? Wonder if that 3 kisses will be helpful. Wonder why she blew 3 kisses. And this is what happened. The next day when Big Anthony went to the town square to fetch the water, he told everyone about the pasta pot. And naturally, everyone laughed at him because it sounded so silly. A pot that cooked all by itself. You better go and confess to the priest, Big Anthony, they said. Such a lie. And Big Anthony was angry, and that wasn't a very good thing to be. I'll show them, he said to himself. Someday I will get the pasta pot and make it cook, and then they'll be sorry. So you can see the angry look on his face. That day came sooner than even Big Anthony would have thought, because 2 days later, Strega Nona said to Big Anthony, Anthony, I must go over the mountain to the next town to see my friend Strega Amelia. Sweep the house and weed the garden. Feed the goat and milk her, and for your lunch there are some bread and cheese in the cupboard. And remember, don't touch the pasta pot.
Oh, yes, yes, Strega Nona, said Big Anthony. But inside he was thinking, my chance has come.
So look what he's thinking about. So if you haven't yet, make a prediction. What do you think is going to happen while Strega Nona is away? As soon as Strega Nona was out of sight, Big Anthony went inside and pulled the pasta pot off the shelf and put it on the floor.
Now let's see if I can remember the words, said Big Anthony. Bubble, bubble, pasta pot. Boil me some pasta nice and hot. I'm hungry and it's time to sup. Boil enough pasta to fill me up.
And sure enough, the pot bubbled and boiled and began to fill up with pasta. So far, so good. I know this doesn't have anything to do with the story, but I think that that rabbit at the top is unusually large. Aha, said Big Anthony, and he ran to the town square, jumped on the fountain and shouted, Everyone get forks and plates, and platters and bowls, pasta for all the Strega Nona's house. And Big Anthony has made the magic pasta pot work. Of course, everyone laughed, but ran home to get forks and plates and platters and bowls. And sure enough, when they got to Strega Nona's house, the pasta pot was so full, it was beginning to overflow. Now, I don't remember Strega Nona, when she made the pasta, that hers started to overflow. So I wonder why it is now.
Big Anthony was a hero. He scooped out pasta and filled the plates and platters and bowls. And there was more than enough for all the townspeople, including the priests and the sisters from the convent. And some people came back for 2 and 3 helpings. But the pot was never empty. So it sounds like it's still filling up with pasta. When all had had their fill, Big Anthony sang, "Enough, enough, my pasta pot. I have my pasta nice and hot. So simmer down, my pot of clay, until I'm hungry another day." But alas, he did not blow the 3 kisses. He went outside, and to the applause of the crowd, Big Anthony took a bow. He was so busy listening to compliments from everyone that he didn't notice the pasta pot was still bubbling and boiling, until a sister from the convent said, "Oh, Big Anthony, look!" And the pasta was pouring out of the pot all over the floor of Strega Nona's house and was coming out the door. So you can see at the bottom, the pasta is coming out of the door. And of course, Big Anthony's not paying attention because we were told he doesn't pay attention. Big Anthony rushed in and shouted the magic words again, but the pot kept bubbling. He took the pot off the floor, but pasta kept on pouring from it. Big Anthony grabbed a cover and put it on the pot and sat on it. But the pasta raised the cover and Big Anthony as well and spilled onto the floor of Strega Nona's house. So it sounds like he's trying to fix the problem. He's trying many different strategies, but nothing is working. So can you remember what he forgot to do? How is he going to stop the pasta from overflowing? "Stop!" yelled Big Anthony. But the pasta would not stop. And if someone hadn't grabbed poor Big Anthony, the pasta would have covered him up. The pasta had all but filled the little house. Out of the windows and through the doors came the pasta, and the pot kept right on bubbling. The townspeople began to worry. "Do something, Big Anthony," they shouted. Big Anthony sang the magic song again, but without the 3 kisses, it did no good. By this time, the pasta was on its way down the road, and all the people were running to keep ahead of it. Hopefully, either Strega Nona comes back real soon or he figures out what he forgot to do. I like pasta, but that's way too much pasta. "We must protect our town from the pasta," shouted the mayor. "Get mattresses, tables, doors, anything to make a barricade." So I want you to think, what is a barricade? What are they trying to do? They have this pasta that's going all over the place, and the mayor wants them to get mattresses and tables and doors, things that would make a barricade. So if you said something like something that blocks something, or something that prevents something from moving anymore or getting any farther, that's right. It could also be a barrier. But even that didn't work. The pot kept bubbling and the pasta kept coming. So all these people are trying their hardest to block it. See, here's Strega Nona's house right here. And it's starting to come into the town. And all these people just don't know what to do. "We are lost," said the people. And the priests and the sisters of the convent began praying. "The pasta will cover our town," they cried. And it certainly would have, Had Strega Nona not come down the road, home from her visit, she didn't have to look twice to know what had happened. So Strega Nona, look at all these barricades that have been overtaken by the pasta. But I thought it was interesting. Strega Nona down here at the corner doesn't really look like she's worried. She looks pretty calm. I wonder why she's not worried. Just think about that. She sang the magic song and blew the 3 kisses, and with a sputter, the pot stopped boiling and the pasta came to a halt. Oh, grazia! Thank you, Strega Nona, the people cried. But then they turned on poor Big Anthony. String him up, the men of the town shouted. So what does it mean that they turned on Big Anthony? So at the top, she sang her song over here on this side. At the top, all these people are so happy that Strega Nona stopped the pasta. But at the bottom, they turn. How do they all look on their faces? So if you said something about angry, and if they turned on them, that means that they decided that he needed to be punished. You're right. Wonder what Strega Nona will do. Now wait, said Strega Nona. The punishment must fit the crime. So if you've heard of that phrase before, it means, you're right, it means something like whatever you do as a punishment must match the thing that went wrong. And she took a fork from a lady standing nearby and held it out to Big Anthony. So before I read the next page, I want you to just think a little bit about what you think his punishment is going to be if she gave him a fork. All right, Anthony, you wanted pasta from my magic pasta pot, Strega Nona said, and I want to sleep in my little bed tonight. So, start eating. Look at that. She's going to make him eat all that pasta. And she's smiling. And all those people, well, some of them are smiling and some of them are like, geez, that's going to take forever. And he did. Poor Big Anthony. Again, Strega Nona's pretty happy. At least he's gotten out of the town. And it looks like most of the pasta is out of the house. But look at his belly. Let's compare. So you notice his belly. You can't really tell because there's this really loose shirt on this previous page. But if we look at the next page, now his belly's sticking out. So he's definitely gained lots of weight. And this is the final page. Big Anthony has finally finished, except for this little string of pasta right there. And look how much bigger his belly got. So that is the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, this is called Strega Nona. And it's just a really fun book. It's neat to read. So I hope you learn something from this book. Like I said, folklores usually have a theme. So you have to decide what you think that theme is. What could we learn from Big Anthony? It's important to pay attention. Exactly.